Okay, so in the last video, I talked about lean and how lean focuses on reducing waste. In fact, the only thing that we need to remember about lean is its association with the concept of reducing waste. At least for now. If you haven't watched that video, the link is in this corner or in the video description. Today, I'm talking about Kanban. Kanban, as we all know, is this nifty little framework that is used worldwide for software development and for billion other things. Now, there is a lot of misunderstanding on whether Kanban is a lean framework or an agile framework. So let's talk about that first before diving deep into what Kanban actually is. Kanban, as a scheduling technique, existed long before the concept of lean came into existence. Taiichi Ohno, who is regarded as the father of Kanban, introduced Kanban in the year 1953. Later, lean adopted Kanban as one of its framework in the year 2007. Now, I'm not going to go deep into the history of how that happened. You can Google it if you want, but that clarifies the fact that Kanban is actually a lean framework and not an agile framework. Having said that, due to its capability of successfully and efficiently managing available time, surfacing bottlenecks, blocks, and impediments in real time, Kanban very closely aligns with the agile concept that promotes navigating around those bottlenecks and blocks. In other words, Kanban surfaces the blocks and bottlenecks quickly in real time, and then we can use our agile thinking to decide whether to swarm and fix those bottlenecks or push it back and let the other items flow through. So, Kanban is more like a very efficient agile enabler, even more so than Scrum. But if that is the case, why do we not advise new agile teams to start with Kanban? New agile teams are advised to start with Scrum, except where Scrum doesn't make sense at all. And the reason for that is because it's challenging to develop an agile mindset using Kanban. Scrum, on the other hand, provides a little more disciplined approach, which helps in facilitating the development of the agile mindset. More on the difference between Scrum and Kanban in a future video. So, what is Kanban really? Let's have a look. In short, Kanban is a just-in-time scheduling system that provides the added benefit of visualizing the steps of the work. What you're seeing on the screen right now is what most people refer to as Kanban. But you'll be surprised to know that this is not Kanban. What you see here is a flow system, the journey of an activity towards completion. On the board, as you can see, we have cards for each of these activities. These cards are called Kanban, and these are what we use to write our user stories. For simplicity's sake, let's call this combination of the flow system and Kanban cards the Kanban Framework. In fact, this is exactly what a Kanban framework looks like. A board with vertical columns, with each column representing a series of steps in a sequential workflow. But don't be mistaken when I say sequential. The user stories are not bound to pass through each of these columns to be completed. The journey of a user story across the board is governed by the business rules and the project workflow. For example, a card in the analysis column can directly go to the UAT column, depending upon if it meets or doesn't meet a particular requirement or a business rule. With that, let's quickly breeze through a few guidelines that you can use to get started with Kanban quickly. There are 4 such guidelines or principles. One thing to note here is that Kanban as a lean framework is younger to Scrum as an agile framework. This provided the users of Kanban an opportunity to fix the mistakes made by the creators of Scrum. The first 3 principles of Kanban are a solution to those mistakes. Principle number 1. Start where you are now. Kanban does not provide any prescription. It does not specify a particular setup or procedure. All you have to do is put Kanban properties on top of your current workflow, and soon you will be able to see things that needs fixing, or in other words, the waste that needs removing, allowing you to make positive changes over time. This makes getting started with Kanban a lot easier when compared to Scrum. Principle number 2. Agree to pursue incremental and evolutionary change. Another way to look at Kanban is through the lens of change management. When you begin adopting Kanban, you will gradually but naturally feel the need for tiny incremental and evolutionary adjustments to your current system. This is very effective if you have a lot of resistance to change in your company. Principle number 3. Respect the current process, roles, responsibilities, and titles. According to Kanban, existing processes, roles, responsibilities, and titles may already have value. Kanban allows change, but it does not dictate it. Instead, it supports gradual change in case you do make changes. Incremental changes does not cause the kind of anxiety that inhibits progress, allowing you to get broader support for your Kanban implementation. As you might have noticed, the first 3 principles help combat emotional resistance to change. Principle number 4, encourage acts of leadership at all levels. Kanban promotes leadership at all levels. You do not have to be a manager or an executive to be a leader. In fact, history shows that some of the finest leadership comes from those on the front lines of their respective teams performing regular tasks. Kanban says that in order to achieve peak performance as a team, department, or company, everyone must cultivate an attitude of continuous improvement. For example, if the lowest ranking team member comes up with a brilliant idea, it should be recognized and appreciated. Alright, so there you have it. This was Kanban in a nutshell. We will keep exploring Kanban in the upcoming videos. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and do not forget to provide your valuable feedback in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.